what are some life hacks you have for college, right? Because college is different from high school.
Yeah, definitely. It's a whole different ball game, and you have less of the hand holding that you have in
Right,
high
in
school.
high school.
So now the professors are not really teaching there. They're basically telling you what you need to study. They basically assign you pages and chapters to read, and they tell you to go out and study. The exam is in 2 weeks or in a week in some instances. So go out and do it.
Uh-huh.
So again, that textbook hack that I told you guys about came in handy in college too, because I just went out and got the textbook and then started reading right away the textbook. That helped me in a lot, especially for those pre-med courses like bio, physics, organic chemistry. That helped a lot. It helped a ton.
Uh-huh.
For the engineering courses, what I did was I had a brother in electrical engineering, so he had a lot of like electronics workbooks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
a Sham series and stuff like that. So I was able to borrow some of those books from him. What borrow? He's my brother. I basically took him and basically just worked through those workbooks and did all those circuits, electronic stuff, and yeah, just worked on that. Anytime I had homework to do, I did my homework in addition to doing all that stuff.
I mean, so this seems like lots and lots of work. Where did you get the motivation to feel to put in all this effort?
Two things. One thing, I had a scholarship and I had to maintain a scholarship and maintain a minimum GPA going from year to year. Because if you didn't maintain at least, I know it was above a 3, it has to be like a 3.2 or something. If you didn't maintain a 3.2, that scholarship was gone. No warning.
Yeah.
In one semester minus a 3.2, you're without a scholarship.
Wow.
And at a place like GW where the tuition is like 60 grand a year, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big hit. So
Yeah.
that's a big motivation right now, right there. The second motivation was a personal motivation of mine. Is I always shoot for the stars. I always shoot for the stars. So that's why I have to get A's. I can't get anything less than an A. Anything less than an A is failure to me.
I
So
like
that was something that was a personal pressure I put on myself. Even my parents weren't putting that much pressure on me because they knew that I was dealing with a lot of hard, heavy-hitting courses. So they're like, okay, even if you get like a 3.5 or above, that's good. 3.5 is a good GPA for me. No, it wasn't good. I wanted to hit it even harder.
Yeah.
So that's why I went ahead and continued the same studying habits that served me well in high school, made me a valedictorian in high school, and got me the scholarship I wanted to.
Nice.
Keep
wow.
up with that.
That's lots of deep information right there.
That's a lot of deep information, and it sounds like a lot of work, but it's possible when you take it one day at a time.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of break it down. So you kind of mentioned that in college they don't really teach.
They don't teach,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah, and I kind of experienced that as well, right? Because we had the same classes.
Mhm.
And for those who don't know, right, this guy is almost the main reason why I graduated, right? Like, this guy kind of carried me through college, right? Because I was struggling in engineering classes, right? So me and my other close friend, Sartak, right?
Right.
Me and him basically became friends with this guy, and this guy would just sit there with us, show us how to solve his problems, tutor us, coach us,
Right?
and he just basically helped us get through the classes. So this guy was the best wingman ever.
Exactly. I think I remember on certain instances where I was basically tutoring a whole class of our classmates. I was tutoring you and Sartak, and then some other engineering guys walked in the class like I was giving a lecture or something. I was like, what is this? I'm giving a lecture for free.
Right.
But I find that if you're teaching like a certain concept, something that's difficult for you to master yourself, if you teach it to a classroom full of people, you tend to learn a lot more, and that kind of hones your skills even more.
Now, one advice I kind of have from my perspective, right, from not being the smartest guy in engineering class, right?
But he was pretty smart.
But I mean, I was more kind of like street smart, more of a hustling smart, right, in a way. So so people ask me, how do you become friends with smart people, right? Like, let's say you're out there in a class and you want help,
Right.
like you can't just go up to the smartest person in the class and be like, hey, let's work together, right? Like, it's not that easy. You have to kind of provide some kind of value. So I think with me, what I kind of did was I had a kind of like a big brother, Syed, a friend, right?
Okay.
And Syed was 1 year above me. He was I think we met. It was sophomore year when we kind of began doing this, but I was a sophomore and he was a junior. But Syed would help me out by getting me his old books, his old class notes, his old exams, old homeworks, whatever, and I would use that to kind of practice, right? But I didn't know how to solve this stuff. So I came to Syed like, hey, I have the last year's exam, right, and the test is coming up in a week. Do you want to work together on this? And that's how we kind of began working together a lot, right? Because at first I noticed that, I think it was me, Sartak, and somebody else, but like, we kind of had to win you over.
Right.
Because you can't just be helping everybody in the class out on their homework. Right?
Sure.
We had
And
to
I
kind
had
of-
a lot of other courses going
Right,
on.
right.
too.
So we had to kind of provide some value to you.
Mhm.
And I think the value was mainly me. The value I brought was I had this like old exams, old notes that we could use to practice for the tests.
Right.
Right. So what other advice do you have for people out there who want to become friends with smart people like you in class?
I think just be approachable. Just walk up to them. Don't be shy. Just walk up to them, and then work on if it's a homework assignment or a class project. Class projects are great for that because that's your first exposure to that person. You guys are
Right,
working
yeah.
together, like brain to brain on an assignment.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Because I know our
that's
first time
very
I
important.
was actually in lab. We were doing some lab.
Exactly,
together,
lab
right?
exercise. I mean, labs are where most people hit off friendships right there
Right,
when they're
right.
working together, trying to get this damn lab to work. So yeah, I think that's where we met too. And
Right, yeah.
I met a lot of our other classmates in lab as well. We worked a lot in lab, and then that's what translated over to studying together on tests and so forth.
Okay. So is there anything about college you didn't like in particular,
I think
besides the professors and how they taught?
yeah, that was a big portion I didn't like, and that was a big shock to me because I was thinking that the same stuff would carry over from high school. That these guys are professors, I know they're researchers too, but part of their job is to teach too. But these guys weren't teaching; they were basically just writing the first part of a problem on the board and saying, "Okay, you do the rest of this, and this will be on the test." But they haven't really basically explained to us how to carry out this problem, so they kind of left you out in the woods somewhere trying to figure it out on your own. So that was one aspect of that. And another thing is sometimes in college, especially, I felt like maybe if you're not part of a lot of extracurricular activities or the outside activities, you're kind of off on your own, studying on your own. So kind of in the dark, you don't know if you're doing it the right way. So it was a good thing that I met people like Ian and other people in our engineering class where we were able to collaborate together on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because with me, my first year, I struggled because I was just kind of studying on my own.
Right.
It wasn't until I began kind of meeting other people and studying together that I kind of began doing better, right?
Exactly.
And actually, in the 40 Laws of Power, a book by Robert Greene, he has a concept called that it's not good to be in isolation by yourself.
Exactly.
It's better to be out there in front of everybody, like in the open. I mean, in the center, and hear people talking about you, than to be in isolation.
Exactly.
Because when you're in the center, you're in touch with the communications with what's being spread around.
Exactly.
So if you know, hey, everybody in this class has the old exams. That's why they're acing it, and I'm bombing this class. I should probably find the old exams too. So me, I was out of sync with the class, right? Because the main issue was I was a commuter, right? I was staying off campus, so I was still staying with my family. So I take the metro every single day, about an hour, right? From Silver Spring to DC. And after a while, I'm like, oh, people who are staying on campus are kind of sharing information that I'm not privy to.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the biggest
You're
hack,
kind of out of the loop.
yeah, I was out of the loops. The biggest hack I had to overcome was I had become privy to that.
Mm-hmm.
And what helped me was joining NSBE, which was National Society of Black Engineers.
Okay.
Right. So I joined NSBE, and from there they basically helped me with that old books, old exams. But then the president of NSBE put me in touch with somebody he knew in his class who was in the same major I was doing. So he introduced me to Syed,
Okay.
who kind of became my big brother, right?
Oh, so that's how you met.
Yeah,
Syed.
so that's how I met Syed. And I was like, yeah, man, that cool. Same major. So he kind of told me, hey, don't take this class. This professor sucks, right? He won't teach you anything and he'll fail you. Take this class because this professor is a better teacher. Or here, why don't you wait? Don't take this class right now. Take it next semester because he'll be a better professor. So different hacks like that. He kind of helped navigate me and was basically my GPS going through college.
Nice. That's very awesome.